Nate Doss is the absolute GOAT when it comes to disc golf commentary. Relatability, emotion, and he said it best himself. I love disc golf, Terry.
There's 3 keys to disc golf: driving, approaching, and putting. You need all 3 to do this disc sport.
A little bit of a headwind. Oh no. Touch Cafe off the first tee. That should work. Get in. Oh, right over that pin. So today we're talking about the GOAT, and I don't mean Paul McBeth, I don't mean Ken Climo, I'm talking Nate motherfucking Doss. And by GOAT, I mean GOAT of commentary. Yup. Come on. Little 430-foot rip. Not bad, a little short, a little left. So I think when it comes to disc golf commentary, especially live commentary in the moment, what matters the most, credibility, relatability, and how you can portray the emotion of the live event to the fans. Credibility. The one thing that I think Nate Doss has levels and levels above every other disc golf commentator. The only one that really even comes close is Sexton. Oh God. Nate Doss is a 3-time world champion. He was one of the best players in the world for quite some time. And I think maybe the newer generation of, COVID golfers and everything like that, they might not actually know that when Nate Doss is on the mic, you're getting words from a guy who at one point was the top of the game. So I'm big on analyzing disc golf media. And I want it to get out of the stage that it's in, which is very, very beginner and low in regards to the rest of the sports world or the broadcast or the media world. So something that I picked up about Nate while watching the final round of Waco yesterday, he seems to have a connection to the players and their level of skill and the real emotions that they're going through on the way to a victory. A little bit of a breeze out there today. Let's see if I can keep this on hyzer. Scorpius. Come on. All right, now come out of it. Come out of it. Get early. Get left. Gonna be a little pinched off, probably a little flick or a glitch. So in the final round, it felt like Nate's tone changed. You could feel the emotion in his voice. He seemed to live vicariously through these younger players who are now just building their career like he once was. Compared to all the other commentators, you can hear just in his voice that he cares much more than a lot of these commentators. And I don't mean that he cares more about disc golf or he cares more. I mean that he knows the emotions of what it's like to be winning a big tournament. Somewhere towards the very end of the broadcast, you heard Nate say the words, "I love disc golf, Terry."
I love disc golf, Terry.
And a lot of people have said those words. I love disc golf, you probably love disc golf. But it was the way that he said it. It wasn't just like, "Oh, I love disc golf, Terry, this is great." It was, "I love disc golf, Terry." He said it in a way that I think really meant something about the outcome of that event. And the way that he said it just made me feel something. If anyone out there has a pair of 350G PA3s that are white and really flat, maybe beat up, but not like warped off a tree, hit me up, I'll snag them off of you. Wow, that felt nice. Now that's not to say that I think Nate is perfect on the mic. I think he has one big flaw, and I think it's a flaw that can be improved, which is a good thing. A lot of the other things are just natural emotion, natural feel, but this one thing I think he can really work on. It might be a little short. So the one thing that I think Nate Doss needs to improve on when he's behind the mic is plain and simple just his ability to speak. He stumbles over his words quite a bit. He, messes up maybe what he's saying. He always catches himself and he fixes it. But a lot of times it brings down the professionalism of, what he's doing just a little bit. And I think that's an unfortunate thing, but I do think it's a thing that he can definitely work on and improve in. Sometimes you're watching an event, it's a very intense moment where, Terry Miller, someone who is very, very good behind the mic, might not mess up a single word he says. He can really portray the emotion, whereas Nate might have that emotion or have that feeling or know what to say, but he just can't quite spit it out. He's a pro disc golfer, not a broadcaster. I think as time goes on, he's gonna get a lot better at it. Okay, this was actually garbage. I thought this was gonna be down there for a putt. It's actually not even close. Little Annie puncher. Get in. Oh. Sometimes, guys, chain stars are what was on my home course, and I used to hate them because I would get dead center spits. But, oh, I've toned down the pace of my putt a little bit, guys. It's getting better. So I guess if I'm talking about Nate, I should probably talk a little bit about my opinion on the other live commentators in disc golf. Ian Anderson, nice guy in the right place at the right time. Now, there's no shade at him. He seems like one of the nicest guys you could ever meet on tour. He was an OG of the disc golf media game with CCDG, did some amazing things back in the day. But I think when it really comes down to doing your job and giving good insight on the game, I think that's where he lacks a little bit. I just got this new DGA Quake. That was the slipperiest fucking thing on the face of the earth. I thought I was about to die. I'm gonna throw from the side, guys. Get in the hole. Oh. You can tell by some of the things he says. He'll comment on a disc or a shot selection or something like that, and the way that Nate and Philo will react to what he's saying. They might not even say anything, but it's the silence in the room that speaks a little bit louder. I just think sometimes where Ian misses the mark is his real insight on the high level game of disc golf. So I guess that brings us to Ian's, counterpart, partner in most cases, Philo Brathwaite. Seems like a great guy off the course. On the course, I don't know if I'd ever want to play with him. Oh, get up, you pussy. God. He's done a lot for the game, but in my opinion, he's extremely boring, and honestly, sometimes he says some wacky shit. If you listen to the intros of the Goat Hill Challenge from this year, he's talking about wet panties and dropping panties and shit like that. I don't even know.
Do you got a fresh pair of panties on? If y'all got some fresh panties on, it's round 2. The action is hot, man.
I think like the whole back of this course has like these shit ass old carpet tees. So you just saw me almost die. I'm gonna just throw a little standstill flick here. This hole's literally 165 feet around the bend, A2, get off that tree. You slut. That's a putt though. And I guess I'm not really talking shit on Philo's like language or the things he's saying, because it's kind of the same shit that I do. I'm just saying on like the higher level production teams where you want the sport to look professional, talking about dropping wet panties to intro the video probably isn't the best option. Get up. Ah, some guy, I want to say Eli was his handle. He just commented on my video last night, giving me a few outsider perspective tips on my putt. I'm sorry, man, I totally forgot what you said, and I'm probably not doing it today. One of these days, I'm gonna remember and I'm gonna try it out. Get it. Yup, not. Bro, what the what? Dude, that's why I fucking hate chain stars. Oh my god, how did that even happen? Get it. Yeah, nah. Bro, what the what? This video is based more around my opinions towards the live commentary, because it's a completely different ballgame. With the live, you have to really portray the emotion. The people are right there, right now, and they want to know what it would feel like to be watching the lead card 20 feet away from the side of the fairway, from behind the tee box. Joe Maz is a whole different ballgame. But I guess that brings us to Nate Sexton. Jump? Park job? Oh, if that was a flippy one off the tree and in? Nope. If I'm being completely honest, there's not a bad thing you could say about Nate Sexton. I think his commentary is great, gives good insight, has good humor. As you've probably noticed, I'm big on telling a story, and I think that Nate Doss just shows the emotion needed to portray that live energy. That being said, I do absolutely love when it's Nate, and Terry in the booth on the live coverage. So let me know down in the comments, like, who do you guys think is the best live disc golf commentator in the game right now? Who do you think are some other maybe retired players or players towards the end of their career that you'd like to see pick up the mic and you think could bring some great value to the game of disc golf on the live broadcast side? So I guess that leaves us with Brian Earhart. Brian Earhart, I think, brings professionalism, pretty solid speaking skills. I think as he continues to grow, he'll get a little bit smoother. Sometimes I think when Brian is talking to the players, interviewing post round or whatever it may be, he's thinking a little bit too much. He's thinking about what he's saying rather than just letting it flow out of him. And I think the natural ability to speak is what you really need to portray the storylines of disc golf. I think in the long run, Brian could be one of those players that we really see turn into a great disc golf broadcaster, one of the first career guys that kind of retired early, had some injuries, had to call the game itself quits, but then took on this other role and really made it his own. that's a putt. Terry Miller is kind of the OG. He's basically dedicated his whole life to broadcasting the game of disc golf and being the dude who probably puts out, I would say, maybe more coverage and does more commentary than anyone else in the sport. It's safe to say he knows the game and he's been around it for a long time. Came up a little short and right. I don't know if I have anything. I think I have a little pocket up through here. There's the gap. Let's go. No chains needed. That was cracked. Now I think sometimes people view Terry Miller as maybe a little bit unprofessional when he's around the players, but I think that stems from his good personal relationships with the players and even their families. You hear Terry talk a lot about the younger players' parents, and maybe you think that's weird, but disc golf is such a small niche sport where it's kind of normal. Terry Miller is, I gotta assume, in his 40s. A lot of these younger players that are, in their late teens, early 20s, their parents are probably in their 40s. So when they're out on the road touring with their children, wouldn't it make sense to make friends with the people that are your own age that are also kind of on the tour? I aced this hole a few months ago. It's literally, I'm playing the short. I'm just playing random fucking holes out here. I don't even know, half of this course is trash. I'm just gonna throw like 5 discs at it, see if we can ring up an ace. So as I was saying, Terry Miller has a great personal relationship with the players. Get in. But at the same time, I think he has a great ability to stay neutral when it comes to commentating about the game. PA3, this one might completely flip up and go right in the hole. Come on. A little short. I also think Terry brings some great, you bitch. Great comic relief to the commentary booth when it's just him and Nate Doss. I think Nate Doss is a little bit more serious at times. He can go along with a good joke. I think Terry really brings out the playfulness that sometimes is needed when it comes to the disc golf commentary. Now, when I was watching the final round of Waco yesterday, the thought hit me. I've always loved Nate Doss. He's one of the GOATs of the game. Yesterday was a record-breaking round. 13 people all within 3 strokes of the lead. So we knew we were gonna see something incredible. And we knew somebody was gonna have to do something crazy to take home the win. One hole where you don't get a birdie basically knocked you out of it. We saw it with James Proctor early on. He basically had 3 bad holes in a row and he had no chance to make it. Adam Hammis was out of it and then he aces a hole and gets right back into it. And then Kyle Klein shoots a record-breaking performance of 13 under par to take it down. And throughout the broadcast, there was one thing that I noticed from Nate Doss that he does better than anyone else. Nate at one point was the best player in the world. None of the other broadcasters were, have been, or ever will be. He knows what the emotions are like to bring home a big victory. And you can feel it in the tone of his voice throughout the broadcast that he's relating to these players. He's relating to these young players. Nate Doss started his career when he was, around the same age as all these young guys, and he's been through it. It's almost like he's reliving those memories that he has through this new group of players coming up in the sport. And I think that's what brings him the most value when it comes to the commentary. Now, every great commentator needs a partner, and I think for Nate Doss, that's Terry Miller. They bounce off each other very well. Like I was saying, Terry Miller brings that comedic aspect. He brings that personal relationship with the players, whereas Nate also has a personal relationship with players, but at one point was also their biggest competitor. So I think it's a different dynamic. I think Nate and Terry Miller put something really good together when it comes to the live broadcast on the Disc Golf Network. Let me know what you think down below. What do you guys think? Who's the best live broadcaster? We're out here at Crockett Park today. I don't even know what holes I played. I was just jumping around. This course is like half the holes are pretty sweet and half the holes suck and don't have tee pads. That's gonna do it. We'll see you in the next one.